untitled.world.com. Welcome to this overview. I'm gonna be showing you guys about the xShatter effects simulation that we have been working on for the past few months, and I'm really excited guys to show you because this tool is gonna be really powerful to help you create like amazing dynamics really fast and very quickly. So for this tool, once you open it, it's gonna have the typical window with have like the help, and underneath it you're gonna have documentation. So this way when you click on it, it's gonna take you to our website, and it's gonna, under the documentation, you're gonna see what's the latest updates on the tool. And then support, here you can contact us if you have any issues or you need help. And under the 3D Models World, here you're gonna be able to visit our website, and it's gonna to see what's the latest updates and models we have. And then this tool basically have two sections, main sections. First is the dynamic simulation section, and underneath it you have all these options related to dynamic simulation. And then you have the particle effects section, which is gonna have this dust and smoke related stuff. I want to go now and explain for you guys what these settings are by doing an example. The best thing is when you're showing this tool, just basically do something with it so I can show you. So the general settings is it have like these few options here. You can add static colliders. So this tool, before I go too much details into this tool works with the physics bullet engine in Maya. So if we go to effects, the bullet physics, this section here, this tool is work hand in hand with this plugin, and this is built into Maya, so you can easily access it from going to the Windows, setting preferences, plugin manager, and then you can activate here the bullet bundle, as you can see. So make sure this bullet bundle is activated, otherwise the tool is gonna give you errors. It's not gonna work because it's rely on physics, the bullet physics, to work together to create these simulations. So the static colliders is basically very similar to the static collider in the bullet. And then this remove sim, it's gonna, like, once you apply simulation objects and you kind of don't like how they look, you can remove the simulation of them. And then freeze simulation, this is gonna basically, once you have simulation, let's say you shattered like lots of objects on the ground, you can freeze them and they're gonna stay there and they're not gonna be animated anymore. And delete sim is gonna delete simulation from your scene. And then this polyshattering generator, that's the tool that is not a dynamic tool, but this tool is gonna help you generate fragments from any selection. So let's start working on this. I'm gonna show you guys how I'm gonna generate fragments on this building, as you can see here, and then we're gonna basically do a demolition on it right now. So you're gonna see how easy it is. So first let me go shading and then wireframe unshaded. And then let's start generating new fragments. So I just can select like that and click generate fragment. You can see it start cutting, and then you can go to this wall here and then start easily. You can of course do multi-select, and then we're gonna keep doing that, and then we're gonna basically generate all these fragments. And of course we're gonna keep the you can see like it's become like chunks, and also I'll show you it have the UVs also still connected. So if we go to the modeling UV editor, you can see the UVs are not perfect, but still they're UV'd in case you need them, and they inherit the same material of that original face. The same textures will be inherited. Okay, so you can basically, as you can see, it's really easy. You can select, as I mentioned, as many as you want like that, and then you can keep doing this. So I want to open a scene. I already did all the generate all the fragments in it, so this way I'm not gonna spend too much time shattering this building, and doesn't really take that long to do it. So as you can see here, I just did the shattering and shattered the glass, and everything here shattered. And I show you just a quick tip. I have this cut plane I basically created. This plane allow me to see which parts I wanna do generate fragments on. This is just for visual. So this way I know like this part of the building I don't want to demolish, and I just want to demolish this part of the building. So this way I have this plane I just created, so it give me a guide where I need to generate the fragments. Okay, so once you have the fragments done, So you can close this poly shattering, and then we can work with this demolition generator. And this demolition generator, as you can see, is incredibly simple. You have just 2 buttons to do, and that's it, and then we'll generate simulation for you. First, convert selection to demolition dynamics. That's really important. And then the second one you do, of course, you work with them in order. And then the second one is generate demolition from selection. So just make sure everything is poly. You know, anything that's not poly, it's gonna be causing a problem. So let's go front view, let's go here, and then I'm gonna just start selecting. So you can control how the demolition you want it to be. Like, this tool is incredibly easy to use and very artistically. You can control exactly how you want things to be. So first, I want the demolition to be from the bottom to the top, like a typical, you know, demolition simulation. So first, I want to make sure anything with this group that's non-destructive, so I don't want it to be affected. So I'm gonna add it a new layer, and then this is here, like, let's call it non-dynamic, just quickly, and then I'm gonna reference it. So basically I cannot select it anymore. I just want to make sure, like, anything I don't want, and here in the building section, I'm just gonna add it to here. So basically I cannot select the stuff that I don't want it to be demolished. This is important for organizing, and also so you don't by accident select things that you don't want and then have some weird results. So first, let's select the first layer here. I'm gonna do a really quick demolition for you guys. So I just want to select this first section. I want it to be demolished first, and then let's go back to the front view, and then let's do this. First, convert to dynamics. And you can see, so now it gives like an error, and this error basically related to the physics engine. We talk about it in the documentation, that this is normal, nothing to be worried about. So once you click that and you see this error, that's totally fine. Click generate demolition, and you see it's processing the script, and then tell you here demolition completed. And then, as you can see, there's a bunch of nodes and groups created in your scene. So first, this demolition group, and then you can see here there's this gravity control gets created that control the gravity in all your demolition. And this demolition group will be controlling a few options here added that we're gonna be controlling the demolition on just that the objects under this group. And you can see these objects are renamed, everything, so all is organized. It's gonna be really good for you guys. So under this extra there's something called start simulation. That's really important. This is, you can animate it to on and off anytime you want simulation to start. Mass is the typical like weight of these objects, and mass will be influenced how they interact with each other, not how fast they fall. You know, this is just for the dynamics. And then the damping, linear damping, that's how much resistance is gonna be while they flying, like in translation. Angular damping, that's how much resistance is gonna be in rotation wise, like the higher the damping, the less rotation. And then this higher damping for the linear will be less distance they're gonna go. And then friction is how much the friction gonna be when they interact with other dynamics. And restitution, this one have related to like bounciness, how bouncy they are. So the basic settings here set up pretty good. The friction is like 1, so more realistic, and everything is 0, and the mass is just 1. So now I'm not gonna animate anything, so I'm gonna just basically continue setup. So I just select this group once you created it, and go to the visibility, turn it off. So this way you not accidentally select it again, and then you have a conflict in your dynamic simulation. So now I'm selecting another part of this, and then convert to dynamics, and then just give it a second, and then it's done. And then generate demolition, it goes through it, and then tell you demolition completed. So created another group, it's the same thing. So let's hide, and let's go to this guy here, and then let's do the same thing, just convert to dynamics, done. And then generate demolition. You can see that the progress bar showing you the progress here, and then completed. Keep an eye on the notes here, it tells you the script, the tool tells you what's going on. And then let's do this guys here, and then we'll do one more, and then we're done. So let's convert to dynamics. It's the same thing. You're gonna see, guys, it's pretty straightforward stuff in order to use the tool. You don't need to be expert at Maya or expert at dynamics at all. Like, you can be completely newbie at dynamics, and you can create such a stunning like results really fast. You can go here and basically deselect curves. So let's do this one here. Let's select it. So I'm selecting here everything related to that section, and then convert to dynamics. Okay, done. And then generate demolition. Okay, I went through everything and then generated demolition. Okay, let's close it. And then I just want to have this chimney. You can divide as many groups as you want, but let's do it under one group. Okay, done. Perfect. So we have these 5 groups now. Let me show them all. We don't need that group. We just need these guys. And don't forget, gonna be the top, the demolition group. That one's gonna have also stuff in it. So you can see now we have everything is connected. When you select it, it gives you this like a purple color. So first, let's start by adjusting. Let me select the curves again. You can of course scale this, and this is, by the way, gonna go on the 0, 0, 0 of your scene. So now this is a grid here. So just an idea. So here you can select the gravity, and then let's put the gravity initial. As I mentioned, this gravity gonna affect like everything in your scene. So let's go like put it into like 40 for now. Okay, so now if you press play, you can see like nothing really happening, right? But everything have been set up in your scene to work really well with the dynamics. So let me pause, and then let's start working with the demolition. Okay, so now let's go to frame, let's say 5, and then you can here, while we're selecting the group, you can see the start sim. So let's key it at 0. So at 5 we don't want anything to happen. And then let's go just 1 frame at 6 and change it to 1 here. And press key selected. So now if you press play, as you can see at frame, it just goes down. Now there's something here show up, like these guys just suddenly popped up, but we don't need to worry about right now this stuff. I can show you how to fix it later. So let's go to, so let's see here. So this one it's frame 6. So let's go to group. You can always select both, and then go to frame like let's say 6, and then just select this group, and then press key, and then go just 1 frame and press 1 again. So this way you got that simulation. And then this one at frame 0, so I'm just going gradually in each group, and then let's go to this guy, and then select here 0, and then press 1, and I'm just keying, like keep keying in gradual simulation. So I go to this guy. So we did this guy, and then now we need to go to this guy. So select at 9, do nothing, and then at frame 10, start the simulation. Okay, and then let's go to this last guy here. So at frame 10, do nothing, and at frame 11, go ahead and start the simulation. Okay, so now let's press play. Now my computer is gonna be a little bit slow because I'm recording and playing these dynamics. Like there's more than 9,000 faces here, but you can see like instantly how everything collapsed like in the demolition situation. So now everything going through the ground, right? And that's fine because we can just unreference the ground, select it, and then go to this general setting and click add static collider. Okay, so that's should solve the problem of going through the ground. And then let's press play, and you can see everything now is not going through the ground, and how everything is collapsing. And as you can see, like in literally like less than 3-4 minutes, we just created this dynamic simulation really fast. And if you're gonna do it this traditional method, like just doing like irregular bullet physics or particles or stuff, it's gonna take some time and lots of tweak to get like something to look pretty good. So now as you can see, and then you can adjust the timing. Like if you're not happy with the timing, you can just let's say I don't want it to start at frame 6 the simulation. I just select like everything here, and then I can just go grab all these keys and then move them, so now the simulation gonna start at frame around 10. So now nothing is happening, and once that just everything goes down at the proper frame. So you can easily control, and you can control the offset between these, you know. And I have like around it like 11,000 faces now, and my computer doing pretty well, just, you know, without the recording. Of course with the recording slows down a bit. And then since this is of course a bullet, using the bullet, like working with it, so you can select the bullet solver and go to the settings here, and then you can adjust, you know, the internal fixed frame rate. I recommend 120. It's pretty good, it's more accurate, but sometimes it gives you like bugs or weird stuff. You can switch between them and see like which one works well for your scene, you know. And then so this is good. So as you can see, like in just a few minutes we just created this building going down easy. Now as I mentioned, like sometimes you get like these weird things happen, like things suddenly, like let's see when to start, or let me push the dynamics to start much earlier than right now, because now I pushed them start at 10. So let's push it back to start much earlier, so I can show you guys what I mean. So you can see like these guys just popped out quickly. So what you can do, there's multiple ways. Now a lot of this stuff have to do with the Maya renaming. Like some stuff, when you like duplicate and they have the same name and you don't change the name and you don't do that kind of stuff, it confuses Maya, because you know Maya doesn't like things having exactly the same name. So this tool will be affected by that. If you have things like named correctly and everything is unique, that will be ideal. But if for some reason like things also behaving really like not how they should be, you can go to this general settings, and then you can do is remove the simulation on them. So again, if there is a naming issue, it might give you error. Let's see. So this is, I removed the simulation, you know. So simulation, you know, removed. So they detach them. Once you do that, they get detached from the group and they become like inactive. So let's work on this one, and they pop back to where they were before. So you can see these guys I just did, they went back to their original place, and they're not gonna have any simulation with them. So let's do more. Let's see what else we can do here. So this guy, and think, yeah, these guys also a natural. Remove. So now this one gives an error, and that's, as you can see here, it's a bullet having problems with this object. So let's skip it for now. Remove. Also having these, so you can see some objects, they might causing some issues. It's a bullet issue, you know, like so. But I can show you some workaround of these. So all these, you know, so what we got like one object here having issue. So these objects having issues here. So what you can do, let's see if this guy have issues. Yes, also this one. So we have like from this scene 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 objects kind of like not behaving very well. So what you can do, since you cannot remove simulation on them because it's a bullet having an issue, so what you can do, you can freeze simulation. So this will freeze it at its place, you know. It's a quick workaround, you know. So I'm freezing simulation on them, you know. So this way, if we go back, they stay where they are, but at least they're not gonna be causing issues. So for now, we could hide them. We could rerun the simulation on them later. So for now, I'm just gonna hide them, you know, these guys. And I'm gonna select these guys that we just remove the simulation on them, and then I'm gonna add simulation on them again. So convert to dynamics, and then generate demolition. And let's see if this one gonna help right now. So let's see where they are. They're kind of all over the place, but I can like run the simulation with them anytime. So let's go like here, maybe around frame 11. Let's click key selected, and then go one frame, and then do one here. So let's see if this is gonna fix the situation. So as you can see, it worked. Now the objects, they behaving like accurately, and they don't do this weird popping anymore. So as you can see, guys, this is also like one way to fix if there's objects behaving weird. Just remove the simulation on them, you know, and then they will pop back, and then you can recreate the simulation on them again, and that's usually fix the problem. If the simulation don't want to get removed because bullet having like an issue with the object, most likely, as I mentioned, the naming, what you can do is freeze the simulation, put them back manually, and then rerun the simulation on them, and that should be good to go, you know. So this, as you can see here, it's really fast. Everything get destroyed. And then as I mentioned, there's a few things you can work as well in the sections, so you can adjust like on everything. So we can select like all these groups and then adjust everything at the same time. So let's say we can have the mass 20. We can have the angular damping, so we don't want them to rotate too much, so we can have it 0.2 or 3. And then the linear damping, just to make it like have more resistance, 0.1. That's it. So all these settings I just created right now is gonna be applied to every single object on this scene. And of course you can change manually if you want some things not to be as intense, you know, or you want things to be really light or something like that. You can adjust that. So you can see now everything falling nicely. So that's so yeah, I want to show you one more thing that's pretty cool. For if you want to have it like let's say you're really happy with this and you like this, like, you know, this mess here is pretty cool. So what you can do is basically select all these guys here, and then go to the general settings and freeze sim. And then freeze objects completed. So now if you go back to frame 1, that's it. You got these guys just 3D models now. They're just hanging where they was supposed to be hang when they did the dynamics. This guy I didn't select it, so it have dynamics on it. So there's some parts when I grabbed I didn't select, but wherever you select in your scene, now it's gonna be there. And this freeze is really good because, as you can see, it's really pretty cool. It give you this like super random stuff. So you can use this tool also to help you in modeling, like if you having like this kind of sim or whatever sim, and then you can hang it, and then you can reapply dynamics on them again, you know, after that. So let me show you. So let's say I'm gonna have these guys here. Let's select some of them. Let me go to frame 1 because I don't want to reselect some stuff have dynamics on them again. So let's select this kind of group here, and then let's do this. Let's go. Let me see. So we have like how many objects get selected? We have 46 objects. Okay, so we can go to convert to dynamics. Let's give it a second. Okay, done, and then gives the error. That's totally fine. And then generate demolition. I'm gonna show you how you can use demolition in a different way, not necessarily always to tear things down. We can do it in more like a fun way, like to do some weird magical stuff. Okay, so demolition completed, and let's find a group. So this group is controlling these guys. Okay, so what you can do, since you're gonna have the gravity, you can do this is gonna affect the other parts. You should have you know, freeze the simulation on them or something, but you can have the gravity like -1, and then if you press play, you know, you see how everything get float. But of course I forgot to key when the simulation needs to start. So let's say at frame 5 again, let's say simulation 0, and go to frame 6, and then put the simulation start to 1, and then let's key it. And then if you do that, and then you're gonna see how everything gets float. And then now this doesn't look that interesting, but what you can do is you can divide these groups. I will show you right now what I mean. So while I'm selecting, let me select everything here. Let's go back. I'm gonna show you guys quickly how you can do some pretty cool magical effects here as well. So let's select all these objects, and then I'm just gonna remove the simulation from them. Okay, so now they don't have any simulation on them at all. And then what we can do, let me also select these guys, and then I just remove simulation from them as well. So they're gonna be hanging in the air, but that's fine. And let's see, there's one guy here, remove simulation from. Let's see, there's nothing. So now the scene is pretty clean. So what I can do is the same kind of thing. So I can select these guys, you know, and then let's go to the demolition, convert to dynamics, and then generate demolition. Oh, I kinda, okay, that's good. And then let's hide it as well. And then let's go this guys, convert dynamics. So you know, it's the same thing, but you can start playing with how this tool gonna be behaving. That's gonna be really fun stuff. Okay, so it's done. Okay, I just saved the scene, so this way, you know, things doesn't go down. And then let's hide this group, and then do the same thing here. Let's select these guys, and then convert to dynamics, and then generate demolition. Okay, so I'm not gonna do in everything, but I'm just gonna show you that you guys can do some pretty cool stuff here quickly. Done, and then generate demolition. Okay, let's hide, and then I'm gonna do just one more, and then convert dynamics, just to show you guys like what we could do with this tool as well. So now I have all these, so let's basically show all of them. Okay, and then let's go to the first one. Yeah, let me save. And then let's go to frame 5. And then start simulation. 0, and then goes to 1. Did I key? Let's make sure I'm keying here. And then here's 0. Here's 1. Okay, and then we can maybe go like few frames here, and then we can do the same thing. Start here 0, and just go like 1 frame, 1. Okay, and then let's go a few frames here. Select this guy. Okay, so now you can see we have here all these groups, and let's go to group 10, and then move it maybe something around here. Let's select it again, and let's key sim, and then let's go one more frame here, and then key it again. Okay, and then let's go 11, and then just go more here, and let's do the same thing. Let's key the sim and go to another frame, and then adjust it, and then maybe let's go more here, one more, something like this, 28, and then key selected, go one more, and then go activate the simulation. So now if I play, you can see how things start to levitate slowly, and in a nice like offset type things. So you basically like having this like simulation being almost like animated, as if you animate, you know, like like characters or cars or whatever. You have like full control over how this simulation gonna be working. So as you can see, if I scrub through how things like slowly keep levitating and in a nice offset, and then you can do like the same on the rest of these objects, or you can have some objects from here like start also levitating. Like for example, if I select these guys and then I put convert to dynamics, and then make them the bullet, sorry, the demolition. And then if we go like that, if you scrub through like nicely, it's gonna be it's not gonna be, you're gonna get some nice kinda accurate result as well from scrubbing, but you don't want to scrub too fast or something. So now if we do that, if we watch it, So now it's like things levitating, you know, like spaceship, like basically taking these, and then now this one also levitating as well. So you kind of get like these really cool type, like really nice sims. And then let's see, so let's make this guy go forward more, and then let's select this guys for example, and then convert to dynamics, and then convert to demolition. Okay, so it's converted. Let's see, did I click too soon and then stop it? Let's see. So maybe like that, 64. Let's press key and then go 65. And then if I scrub through here, oh no, it did convert correctly. Okay, that's cool. And then let's do this thing again, like just select these guys and then convert to dynamics, and then create the generate demolition. Demolition completed. So we can do, since this 65, we can do maybe 75. Just give it you know, 10 more frames. So that's all good in here, and then we can just keep going like that. And then you can see it's really gonna be pretty cool stuff. Now it's messed up, but if I go play back, now you can see here how things levitating in a pretty sweet way, you know. And then here now this one is picking up, you know. So as you can see, you can do some pretty neat stuff with this tool. Like the beauty about it is like really easy. As you can see, like super simple to use it, but the effects you can get from it is pretty powerful and really fast. The great thing about this is like you don't need to spend too much time doing things, you know, and you don't need to keep hitting like walls and experiments, you know, and why the dynamics is not working and all this kind of stuff. The tool is already in the background worked on and did all the things you need to basically, instead of you doing these things, the tool already working on that. The only thing you need to do is basically put the timing where you want the timing to be, and also like you know, just play with that, you know, like some of the settings just to get it like exactly what you want it to be. And then the rest is the tool will be basically doing the rest for you, just to make sure you get stable and pretty cool dynamics and everything working really nice. So yeah, so that's what I wanted to show you. This is just for the demolition section. I'm gonna go now into let me pause the Maya's the play. We don't need to play anymore, stop. So that's, as I mentioned, just for the demolition generator. Now we have the directional explosion, and that's like a whole another thing I'm gonna be talking about in the next section. It's gonna be pretty cool, this one. It have really powerful stuff that you can do. And then lastly, this optimization is pretty straightforward. It's basically you can select whatever objects here in your scene, and then you can convert them to bounding box. So this way, so your computer can play faster if it gets slows down. And then you can click on bounding box again, and we're gonna put them back into the original situation, original shape, not situation. And then bake sim, basically this bake sim on selection. So after you're like happy with this result, you can basically select. Now I want to warn you, you need to be careful when you're using this bake sim. If you select objects that doesn't have simulation in them, it's not gonna bake very well. So you want to make sure when you, like, if you're just dragging like this, make sure you're selecting just the simulation objects. So now I already, let's hide the ground, and also we don't need to select the curves. So all these objects have, so for example, you can see this object doesn't have simulation. So you want to make sure we don't select that. So any objects doesn't have sim, let's select them all here, I think. So all these objects doesn't have simulation. Let's see, did I select, oh, I selected this group. This group is supposed to have something. No, we can delete this one. So I just want to make sure everything I'm selecting doesn't have sim. So let's hide them. So all these guys doesn't have any simulation. So want to make sure just select the one that do have simulation. And once you do that, so the bake sim basically gonna take your timeline, whatever the timeline you decide, it's gonna bake simulation on it. So let's pick, for example, up to 100 frames. So you can pick from here, and then you're selecting your objects, and then click bake sim. Now it's gonna give you, if you're on a Mac, gonna give you this wheel of death, but don't worry, it's not stuck or anything, it's processing. And then it's gonna start going through the timeline, and it's gonna be, as you can see now, it's going through the timeline here, and it's saying, of course, calculating. And when you know it's finished, it's gonna tell you here, it's gonna tell you that the simulation's baking completed or something like that. Okay, so now you can see here, bake simulation completed. So that's, now you know you can touch Maya again. So now if I scrub through, and you can see like everything is animated. If I select here, everything's baked. You know, the beautiful thing about stuff that is baked, you can adjust the animation if you need to, you can change the timing, and the most important thing, if you play, you can see how my Maya is playing much faster than before when it was all dynamics. So that's one thing pretty cool about this tool we created, also to have this big simulation in it. Of course, you guys, if you like, while watching this video, if you have any ideas or something, feel free to contact us and let us know, and then we can incorporate more into this tool. And then once you like purchase it and use it, and you have also like some feedback or ideas, please let us know, and we'll be happily to adjust the settings and fix and add things that you guys think it's really important to have. So you can see here, it looks pretty sweet, you know, and pretty fast. One thing you can do here in the general, once you're like happy with everything, you can delete the sim. So let's do that. So now everything get deleted. As you can see, the gravity arrow disappeared, all the bullet, like everything, bullet nodes, everything get deleted. So now there is no simulation nodes left in your scene. So that's pretty cool for, like, you know, clean up. So this way, you know, if there's any like things left, it's gonna all go away. But make sure you delete the sim after baking. You could delete the sim, of course, before baking if you're not happy with it or whatever. You wanna like create a new sim, you can like delete, and just gonna delete from everything. Now I'm gonna be talking about how to create this directional explosion. So I'm gonna like start a new scene here, and then get back to you guys, and then start working on this. So see you very shortly. Okay, so now I'm gonna show you guys how we can do this. Another tab in here, the directional explosions. I'm gonna show you guys how you can do this really fast in Maya. So let's do this. So let's have these windows, for example, shattered, you know. So we want them to be shattered, you know, and like flying. So what we can do is go to the front view, and then I'm just gonna select these guys here. So you can do like one window at a time or all of them at the same time. So let's do just one for now, so I can show you guys the tool, how it's gonna work. So now I just want to make sure I'm just selecting the windows here, not selecting anything else. It's all good. So once you select them, just click the convert to dynamics, and this give you the bullet thing. That's fine. And then click generate directional explode. Okay, so now once you click that, you get a bunch of things created here in the same location. So now you get this arrow selected, so you can move it, and then you can see there's this arrow pointing to where it's affecting. So this way, so if you have like multiple directional going on, so you want to make sure these arrows are clear, you know, like which one is affecting what part. And then you can see the next thing it created. You can see here it's kind of like a field, explode field it's called. And this field they have settings here that you can adjust, like magnitude, basically the strength of it, and then the shape of it. And this shape is gonna affect how this simulation gonna be influenced, how this guys is gonna be shattered. And then you get like a turbulence, a speed, and then the frequency and the detail. So these are pretty straightforward stuff. It's just, you know, turbulence is gonna affect how the objects, when they're affected by dynamics, the turbulence on them and how they move. So the group itself doesn't have any settings, so it's not like the demolition type. This group just for organization purposes. So everything is here underneath this group. So, and this arrow, whenever you move it, like these guys are gonna fly toward the arrow direction. So this is a great visual way for you guys to decide where you want this. For example, if these glass explode, where do you want them to move? Do you want them to go this way, or like this way, or do you want them to go backward? So you can choose like however you want. And then under this arrow there's a direction strength. So this direction strength, that's if it's set to 0, this arrow is not gonna affect where these guys gonna be shattered direction wise. They're gonna be just shattered like a regular way, you know, which is like whatever been influenced by this shape here. I will show you guys in a second. And then the gravity, that's the gravity affected these guys. So each explosion you create here is gonna have its own gravity, so you can control how things gonna be. And then the sim start, that's a start simulation, and then you get the regular settings that are related to like the general like a bullet dynamics, like the mass and all these kind of stuff. So now let's have the simulation start at our favorite frame 5. And then click, it's actually 6, it's gonna be not frame 5. So here if we press play now, you can see these guys shatter, but they float, and we don't want that, right? So we want them now to go forward. So let's rotate the arrow and tell them, okay, I want these guys to go like this way forward, and then let's have gravity on them, let's say like 40. So now if I press play, you can see they fall down, but they don't go forward. And the reason, because the direction strength is set to 0. So you want to make sure direction strength have strength in it. So if you put it like 100 and then we press play, now you can see they're going, but they keep going, and this is gonna keep going to until you tell them to stop going. And then so that's mean you need to animate this strength. So I think 100 is too strong, but let's start with it. And then let's go like few frames, let's say like, and then put it to 0. So if we press play now, it does this. So let me select the ground, so just to make things more interesting, and then add static collider on it. So this way these glass gonna interact with the ground. So you can see you get this kind of effect. And now that's pretty cool, you know, like, you know, these glass get shattered, but now they kind of stuck with each other. And if you want them to kind of like go all over the place, that's where this field gonna be in handy. So now the magnitude is set to 1, which is basically depends on scale of your scene, but in this case it's really low. So we can go like, let's say 500, and let's see what this does. So you can see now, so they kind of like blowing up like all over the place, but they directional wise they're going forward, they're going where the arrow is going. So now if I move this arrow, for example, backward, rotate it back and then press play, you can see they're going backward now. They're going in that direction. And that's pretty powerful, guys. Like you can control, like I can go like this way, I want them to go, for example, and then they go this way. You can see that's pretty sweet. So you can totally control how these guys gonna be behaving. You can go like this way, this side, for example, and then go that side. But we want them to go forward. We don't want them to go like through the walls or anything. So this way they're going forward. And now if I change, of course, when you scale it, it's gonna also influence. So scale does play a factor. And so if you wanted to include less, for example, you can do this. That's something pretty cool. You can make it like this, really small, and the hit is gonna be like almost like a bullet just in that part. Mainly you can see like how the middle sections flies and everything else just falls normally. And so if you want to make it even more powerful, you can make this like 5,000. Now it's gonna be, the hit is much more powerful. You can see just like a bullet came and then everything collapsed. So you can have a full control over this. But for now I just wanted to include like, you know, all parts of the window, and you can like shape it whatever you like, you know, and you can shape it this way. So now it's gonna affect all parts of the window, like you can see here. Maybe 500 is too strong now, we can make it like 200. And let's press play again, and you can see here, and then we can change the shape. Let's say we want it to be like sphere, and then let's make it regular size like this. So this is gonna influence, you know, you can see it's immediately influence how the shape of these guys. And then you can change it to cylinder, and as I mentioned, like all this is gonna be influenced the shape. We can do this later, but for Windows I'm just gonna keep it cube, like simple, and make it fit like that. You can see here, so something happened, and then this glass flies all over and then falls on the ground like that. So what we can do now is, let's say we're gonna hide these guys so we don't select them by accident, and let's have this chimney, have fun with this chimney. Let's see, so we can select this section here. Let's say we're gonna have this thing goes all over the place. So we can select here everything, and then the same, convert to dynamics, and then generate directional. As you can see, it's the same thing. So this arrow get created, so we can move it, and it's pointing out where it is. Let's show this other group we created earlier. So now let's scale it up. Let me just reference the ground. You can see like all these guys have their own pointing toward the proper place, and that's pretty important when it's come to organizing and having things make sense, you know. So let's point this guys, we want them to go that direction, and then this gets created, you know, and then let's select it, move it where we want it to be influenced mainly, and then let's make it like could be like a cylinder type thing, you know, and then let's make it mainly around here, the main hit, and let's do like 200 and see, and then let's start the simulation. So the frame 5 this thing goes, and then let's say frame 10 we start the simulation in this guys, and let's do gravity as well, like make it 40. Now there's no directional strength, so that means it's not gonna be affected. So let's press play and see what happened. So you can see now it goes and everything fall down. So now let's make it much stronger. So let's if we put like a magnitude like 700 for example, and you can see how things get affected. But let's also do the same thing here. Let's have the direction influence. So let's put it like 100, press key, and then let's go 1 2 3 4 5 maybe 5 frames, and then put it to 0. I know it did like weird thing, but don't worry, when you play it's gonna be fine. So you can see now they're moving more this way. So we can also like increase this, make it like start with like 400, you know. So everything now it goes into that direction much stronger. So you know, so you can see like how this is pretty cool, like the effects that you can achieve here. So look, let's change this to like a sphere. I like the sphere, it does pretty cool, usually pretty cool stuff. So we go like this, and then you can like, if you want the influence to be like stronger, so you can scale it to basically include everything in here, because I didn't have it everything included. And you can see how things fly all over the place. It's pretty cool. It's really cool stuff what you can do here, you know. And you can like say, okay, this is too strong for the direction wise, then you can make it let's say 200, like half the strength of the direction, you know. But don't forget that also the magnitude here play big influence into the stuff. So because if I put this to like, I just break the connection on the direction strength and put it to 0, so now the direction will be not specific direction, will be just totally depends on the sim here related to the magnitude, and you can see here it's the influence it gets. So I do like this direction, for example. We have it like I think 200. So let's animate it, and then let's 1 2 3 4 5 frames, and then put it back to 0. Like it's kind of was pretty cool when we have a specific direction, and as I mentioned, you can like do completely opposite, so do it backward, and you can see it just goes that way. And if I do it, let's say go this way, you can see most of it goes the same direction of the arrow. So that's incredibly powerful, as I mentioned, and that's gonna help you achieve some pretty sweet results really fast. So, and then you can affect like turbulence. You can turn it on, you know, on turbulence details. You can play with these settings, you know, they're just gonna affect how powerful this is gonna be. You know, you can see now it's really getting very powerful and getting much more random. So turbulence, you can think about it, it's gonna add a lot of randomness to your sim. So before, when I had the turbulence turned off, you know, and then turn off this one, and then turn off this one, everything turn off here, and then you kind of get more the spherical shape here in this. So you can, you know, when you add turbulence, it's just gonna distort the shape. It's not gonna be like matching the shape of you selecting here. So that's just something to keep in mind. And we can change this to like to torus. So let's see torus what it looks like. And then just by changing just the shape, you can see it influence a lot how things looks like, you know. So that's something to keep in mind, that how you can influence, you know. And then you can like make this, let's say 7,000. Let's go some really crazy numbers here. You can see like it's pretty cool. And also like when you select this arrow, this mass is gonna influence a lot. So let's put it 20, and let's put this back to sphere, and put it back to like regular normal shape. So these now become heavier, so the effect's gonna be less. They're gonna fly less because they're heavy now. As I mentioned, this mass, it's not too much related to the weight, like how fast or slow they fall down, but it's related to how they interact with each other. Like the dynamics, the heavier mass dynamics gonna influence the ones that's less mass. It's gonna be much more, you know, heavier in relationship to the dynamics itself. So that when we, cause this for example, the shape, the field affecting them, when you increase their weight mass wise, if you put 200, this is gonna influence by how much this guy gonna be affecting them. So now you can see they're just falling because they're really heavy comparing to this. So you need to increase the magnitude. And this guy, in order, let's say like 70,000, in order to get similar effects to what we was having before. So this mass is affect a lot how the simulation is applied mainly, and not too much about the weight. When, you know, if you want something to be heavy, you need to increase this mass. It's the same with the bullet, you know. If you want something to be heavy, you need to kind of increase the gravity. That's how you have things fall fast or fall slow. So if you want things to fall really fast, you can put the gravity to 90, and you can see like they fly a lot, and then they fall. Now they fly a lot because I reduced the mass here, you know, cause, and the field is really strong, you know. So we wanna reduce this 700, you know, and then you can see how they fall really fast in here. So all these settings between the mass and the gravity gonna be influence. Mass, just think about it, how this is gonna be affecting other dynamics, and how other fields gonna be affecting how the behavior of these objects. That's the mass gonna be affecting. Gravity gonna be like how fast they fall. So if you have it really gravity like 20, it's gonna feel like, you know, it just takes a long time to fall. This could sometimes simulate heaviness as well if you have like a huge scene. So you can play with these settings, but as you can see, this directional does create some pretty cool stuff. So let's keep it to the mass here 20, and then let's keep this to, let's say like 40, and then let's adjust this guy to make it like 7,000. Just I want it to be really strong. Okay, so that's pretty good. So let's see. So what we got this looks pretty nice. Okay, what I want to do right now, I want to bake the simulation on this, guys. So I'm just gonna select them here because I want to show you guys the fix the dust tab that I want to be working on. So let's go optimization. We selected all these, all good, and let's do bake sim. It's gonna bake until 120. I just want to make sure I didn't select anything is not dynamic. Let's see, so no, all good, everything gets selected correctly, and we can delete sim from here. So we deleted anything we don't need. It gives like a bullet something error sometimes, but you don't need to worry about it because anyway it's not super important. Now I just want to show you another tab here, but here is all big. So I want to make sure before you start working with the dust, you want to make sure everything is baked into keyframes. Okay, so this is all baked. So let me select all these objects here, the baked object, and then we wanna until this effects dust tab. There's a bunch of things. There's a similarity you're gonna feel like remove effects. That's just gonna remove whatever effects applied on selected objects. Delete effects is gonna delete the entire particle system they're gonna be creating. And now generate particle effects, and that's very important. So of course always select poly objects. And then this one is a sprite texture images. This is basically, since this effects is based on sprites, so this way it can be really fast to render, and you can use hardware rendering, and then it's gonna give you some pretty sweet looking effects results. So this sprite image texture images is basically whenever this particle like emitting, each sprite it have its unique texture. So it basically tells you how many unique textures gonna be applied to your simulation. So 0 is the default. I wouldn't recommend, if you want to go for realistic, you want at least more than 100. So the good thing for you guys, we applied like over 7,000 textures of smoke with different colors. You get the black, you get white, you get the brown, and you get gray colors for all these smokes, and each one of them is unique texture. So you can have a lot of textures. So now I'm gonna put like 120, and then while I'm selecting everything, generate particles. So I'll give you like particle effects generated, and then created a group, and then you can see also there's a nucleus, all this kind of good stuff. So this group, it have all the settings related to creating the simulation. And not just a group, if you go to the hypershade, it's created also an effects shader. And you can see it here like effects shader. This shader is based on Lambert, because this sprites you don't need to use Arnold to render them. You can totally use Maya hardware, and it's gonna be super fast to render. So this effects shader you selected, and this effects shader already connected to the simulation we already created here. So let's go to the color. The only thing you need to do here is basically go select the textures that you want to be applied. So I have here the smoke render, and then I just select one, and this have like 150 images in it, and then that's it. So there's applied like like a script on it that's gonna be basically picking random, and then always change to raw. This is just for the viewing purposes. And then now if we press play, nothing really happening, but that's okay, because as we know, we need to affect when things gonna start and finish. So let's scrub through. So it starts at frame 11. That's where I want the things to start. So let's go like frame 10 and then key to 0. And let's go to frame 11 and let's go like, okay, I want like 50 particles to start. And then let's keep scrubbing, and you can see like up to maybe frame 24, I want it to become like 0. So it basically doesn't keep emitting. It just emits the beginning, and then that's it. So you can see that's pretty cool. And then by the way, let's press 6. Just give it a second, and you can see here the smoke already generated. So now there's a few things we need to play around with here. First, you get the particle size start. That's when it start, and then here when it dies. So you can start small, but I recommend we can start like at 10. And then let's it die at like 100. So this way it's gonna scale, it goes bigger by time. You can see, so it gets like really this nice thing going in here, and it looks pretty cool already, as you can see, and really fast. Like, it took us like a second to generate this kind of effect, which is regularly will take a pretty good amount of time to do. Okay, so particle life, that's how long it's gonna stay in your scene before it's gonna like all disappear. If you put like 3, it's gonna disappear pretty fast. So let's press play. And then we can do also, while we looking at it, we can adjust the particle opacity. So if you scrub through, you can see if you want things to be less opaque, you know, not as much opaque, like not too much opacity. 0.3 is pretty good. And then here is a regular setting. So we have like wind nodes attached to this, so you can adjust the wind. And then we have also turbulence, which is pretty cool. And then we have a retime here. So this retime is gonna slow down the particles. Now set to 1, it's gonna be like the same, and then when you increase it, it's gonna slow down. This particle is gonna just move a lot slower. So this is if you have huge scene and you want things to move slowly, you can adjust this timing here. But I want to keep it to 1, so it's matching like the same timeline I have here because I like it. And then let's play with the wind. Let's say like a 500, and then what direction you want the wind to be. Let's go, we can have it to go like 0.2 in Y, and then maybe in Z goes like 10. You know, it's just random numbers. You can always, you know, adjust them, and you can see now they kind of move with the wind. So they're going up slowly and they're moving to the side. And you can see, guys, this is pretty quick stuff. I already created this dust, and then just disappears slowly like that. And then the same thing, you can apply turbulence. Turbulence can do pretty incredible stuff, by the way. So let's do 10, and frequency like 1, and then the noise level I found is pretty cool. So you can just like turn it like 1. It's up to 8, I think it goes maximum. But let's go 1, and then here noise strength. Noise strength goes up to maximum 1, so you can do like 0.2. And these settings you can just play around. In the documentation, I'm gonna be talking more in details about them, but in this I'm just gonna show you quickly. So directional strength, let's make it, turbulence strength, let's make it like 300, for example. So we can see the effects much more. You can see here, it's slowly gonna influence, and you can see if we go like 600. You know, of course we need to adjust the frequency and other things, you know, to see the result. But you can see here, it's whatever you're doing is instantly updated. Let me stop the animation here for a second, and then go back, and then let's adjust the frequency to 0.2. This is gonna make it, you know, affect even more. Look, you can see here that they start to do like a really pretty cool behavior. So I highly recommend you to play with the turbulence when it's related to smoke, because the turbulence is gonna give you pretty cool stuff. So let me stop here, and then there's another thing you can do with this. If you select the particles, let's say I go here, and then let's select the particles. So here we can go up, we are selecting the unparticles, and then you can hear particle rotation speed. This way each sprite you can have it rotate by time, and then you can, I don't recommend to put too much. You can like put 10 for example, and set rotation selection until your rotation completed. So this way, while the sprites are going, they can be rotating, as you can see here, and this rotation is gonna give it some nice, more realistic result as well. So I recommend you to play with the particle rotation speed, but at the same time don't go too much with it, because it might give you some really weird result. But anytime you can set it and reset it as many times as you need in your simulation, and it's gonna give you some pretty sweet results. So you can see like here, you kind of get some really cool smoke or dust, and this dust, since it's in particle, you can control it with the regular in-particle type stuff. So you can have it collide with things, and you can have all this kind of, and you can do the set initial state as well. If you have smoke going and you want it to keep doing, you can do set initial state on it, and it's gonna be working really well. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video and learned a lot about this tool, and I hope it's gonna be really beneficial for you guys and you can create some stunning simulation with it. Please let me know if you have any questions, and be happy to answer you guys and help you guys. And this tool, of course, you need to purchase it from our website. We spend a lot of time and hard work to create this tool for you guys, and it's pretty inexpensive tool for the stuff that it can do for you guys, and the time can save you and the effort. So I hope you like it, and let me know if you have any questions, and see you in the next video.